Willkommen, bienvenue and hello Eurovision fans, it's me, Rylan. Over the next hour, I'm going to take you through the ultimate A to Z guide to the biggest music show on the planet, the Eurovision Song Contest. We'll be reliving memorable moments like this.
Sweden!
Celebrating the most unforgettable performances. And serving up some monumental voting blunders.
Good evening, Yugoslavia. Could I have your votes, please?
I don't have it.
So, if you're a fan of Eurovision and the letters of the alphabet, or just need to get up to speed, then you're in the right place. Let's get on with it.
Take it away.
There were no shortage of contenders for our first category. I mean, there's Austria, and of course ABBA. But just like Eurovision, we're not that predictable. So I give you A for Animals. Now, Eurovision bosses are sticklers for rules. No more than 6 people on stage, and definitely no live animals. But there's always a way around this. Italy's Francesco Gabbani was joined by the most talented gorilla since the one that liked drumming along to Phil Collins. Sadly, Francesco's Big Ape wasn't quite enough to win it. Back in 2003, Austria took a different approach and were clearly on a budget, so went for the flat-pack farm vibe. Those cardboard creations helped Alf Poyer back himself 6th place. Now, our next animal comes from Azerbaijan, which also begins with the letter A. Turns out, when you spend all your money on a gigantic chalkboard, there's just no cash left for a full costume. Honestly, horsing around at the top of a ladder's asking for trouble. Has he never watched Casualty? Meanwhile, Belarus blew the budget on a wolf hologram, leaving nothing for an outfit. And who can forget when Ireland put forward a right old turkey? A huge TV star in Ireland, Dustin the Turkey was the first puppet to ever compete in the contest, but got well and truly stuffed in the voting and failed to qualify for the final.
Cheers! Did we win?
There's nothing us Eurovision fans love more than sniffing out a winning formula. For example, more winners have worn white than any other colour. No idea why. I've drawn a blanc. But what B links these champions? Yep, they're all barefoot winners. So far, 5 performers have lifted that Eurovision trophy performing barefoot. But all of these barefoot winners have nearly followed in the footsteps of the original trotter trendsetter, Sandy Shaw, the UK's very first winner.
Like a puppet on a string.
So if you want to win, just go barefoot. Maybe that's where I went wrong on the X Factor. Now, those offended by all the flesh on show might want to look away now, because C is for costumes. Fashion has always been a very big deal at Eurovision. But throw in a cheeky costume change and you could be onto a winner. Which is exactly what these next style icons did. This performance led Bucks Fizz to a memorable victory in 1981 and introduced the world to Velcro. It also set a template for future Eurovision acts. Some acts have even delivered multiple costume changes in the same song. That dress is just so last verse. Over the years, even hosts have got in on the act, like Swedish presenter Lil Lindfors back in 1985.
I expect that was guitars on. Oh.
I'll let the late great Sir Terry Wogan talk you through it.
They've got a knockabout sense of humour, the Swedes, haven't they?
Oh, look. Hey.
Nicely done. Well worth the whole of Europe seeing your pants. D is for the one thing every act wants to hear. 12 points, or 12 points. Shout out to my GCSE French teacher. Since 1975, this is the maximum an act can receive from a single country. The first act to receive the honour was Geraldine, the Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, 12 points.
Luxembourg, 12 votes.
The cameras didn't cover her reaction, but I'm sure she was made up. Anyway, Jerry finished 5th, and it's been raining 12 points ever since.
Les 12 points.
12 points. 12 points. 12 points.
12 points.
In 2012, Lorene's winner Euphoria received the most 12 points ever, with 18 of those bad boys.
Sweden.
Sweden.
We are going to present the votes in a new way.
From 2016, jury and viewer votes were separated, with even more top marks up for grabs, resulting in Salvador Sobral stealing Lorene's record in 2017.
Portugal.
Portugal.
Portugal. Portugal.
Ah, poor Lorene. Although some have tried, countries are not allowed to vote for themselves.
12 points from Russia. Go to Russia!
Hilarious. While some countries often save top marks for their closest neighbours, like all those times Cyprus gave 12 points to Greece.
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 Greece. 12 points to Greece.
Or Greece gave 12 points to Cyprus.
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 Cyprus, 12 points.
And don't think we're any different in the UK. No, I'll remind you of this.
12 points go to Jedward, to Ireland.
Mind you, it was for Jedward. On we go to E, which is for epic entrances. Now, you've only got 3 minutes to impress 200 million viewers, so you need to make a big entrance. And they don't come much bigger than this. Zlata Ognovich from Ukraine recruited one of the world's tallest men to carry her onto stage. Bit lazy if you ask me. And in case you're wondering, he was just over 7'8".
Don't you know what you are doing to me?
But back in 2000, it wasn't the main performer who made an epic entrance. Just wait for it. I'm just hoping there was a nice little buffet under there to keep those boys going whilst they were waiting. Some huge stars have graced the Eurovision stage over the years, so F is for famous faces. UK household names have included Bonnie Tyler, Sir Cliff Richard, Blue, and Lulu. With a string of hits to her name already, Olivia Newton-John flew the flag for the UK in 1974. She lost out to a group called ABBA. I wonder what happened to them. Now, some stars owe their international success to the contest, like superstar and former tractor driver Celine Dion, who sang for Switzerland in 1988. And here she is, pointing at some fields and laughing, for no reason whatsoever. And this is Ne partez pas sans moi, which, in English, I think means someone else chose this outfit. With this song and Perm, she won the contest, and the rest is history.
A message to your heart. It's alright. Say a little prayer. Sleep tonight.
Back in 1991, the UK was represented by Ronnie Mitchell from EastEnders. Sorry, a pre-square Samantha Janus.
A message to your heart. Walk on by.
The song finished in 10th place. In those days, not the best result for the UK.
Couldn't give it one more try.
But Ronnie's not the only EastEnder to have competed. Kat Slater represented Romania in 2005.
Let me try. I don't wanna say goodbye.
Well, she says her name's Luminita Angel, but you ain't fooling no one, Kat.
Just let me try.
G is for Graham Norton, of course.
Oh, thank you so much. How lovely. It's so fun.
In 2009, Graham took over the commentary reins from Sir Terry, and even he knew he had big shoes to fill.
I miss Terry too. I'm sorry. He's not here.
In the 11 years Graham's been commentating, he's given us some cracking lines.
This poor creature is Nicholas Joseph. I mean, they've dressed him up as a toilet roll holder and told him it's a Portuguese tradition. They're just laughing at him. Now, if you've just joined us and you thought, oh, Denise Van Outen's let herself go, that's Cascada. I give it a month. No, in fairness, it is very sweet and they're obviously deeply in love.
Even the voting spokespeople ain't safe from a ribbon.
Dear God, does he know it's on television? Now, that's either national dress or horrible dress. It's like a bit of corrugated shed has been blown off a roof and hit her in the neck.
And in 2010, there was a TV first as we heard Graham commentate over himself.
We did this yesterday, so already, you know, Hattie's had that frock on for 48 hours.
Well, it's no trouble because you're putting on a show for 3 hours. So I'm just
I am
watching a
such
great
a
show for
kiss-ass.
3 hours. I enjoy it. And if any of the songs bore me at all, then I just stare into the eyes of Josh Dubovi.
I lie like a rug. Oh! It's like the gay wedding I'll never have.
On to the people that literally get the Eurovision party started, because H is for hosts.
Welcome to the grand final of the 56th Eurovision Song Contest. Are you ready?
Let's start the show!
In the early days, Eurovision was almost exclusively an all-girls club, with female hosts in charge from 1957 to 1977.
The juries are now preparing their votes, and while they're doing so, we'd like to invite you to relax.
This contest is being transmitted to no less than 32 countries.
Last Thursday, we all went to a party at a restaurant here in the heart of London.
These women paved the way for some amazing and often surprising hosts, like Aha's Morten Harket.
I think this is the first time Norway arranged the final.
No. It's the last.
And Ronan Keating.
You are going to sing this, aren't you?
What? Anything you say, come to vous, chérie.
Oh, very impressive.
Who knew he spoke French?
I love it when you speak French.
Torche, mahogany gas pipe.
Welcome to the grand final of the Eurovision Song Contest 2018. Okay, one more time. Slowly there and up. Welcome, Europe!
And from the mid-80s, it became obvious that just reading a script wasn't enough.
Even did my hair for you.
No matter where you go, it's a source of debate, but it's something you either love or hate. That's Eurovision.
But if you're lucky enough to get the job, there are some key things to remember. Firstly, don't ever improvise, especially not jokes.
Here she comes
I
again.
have so many cards in my hand, I could play a card game with myself.
Whatever you do, make sure you've done your homework.
The conductor, le chef d'orchestre, Johannes Skogan.
That was most definitely not his name. And you've got to be a good listener.
Israel, 8 points.
Israel, 7 points.
Israel, oui.
7.
Israel, 8 points.
8 points. 8.
United Kingdom, 5 or 4?
5
points.
5 punti per la Gran Bretagna.
Don't worry, Sam, I'll get Phil Mitchell round. Up next, it's I, which is for interval acts. While Europe is voting, we have been treated to some incredible performances over the years, with recent guest acts including superstars Justin Timberlake and Madonna, who some described as patchy. Such a prestigious slot is only given to the creme de la creme, like this act, who I'm going to call Woman and Man on Bike from 1963. Stunning. A Singing Clown in 1973. At least I think that's what he's doing.
The Wombles of Wimbledon, common are we.
And the Wombles in 1974, the first ever refuse collectors to grace the Eurovision stage. But the interval act has come a long way, thanks to this next performance. Riverdance had its world debut live on Eurovision in 1994, becoming a global sensation overnight. And setting the bar for all interval acts to follow. Like this fan favourite from 2016, which many have called the greatest interval act of all time. Now J is for the most important man behind the Eurovision Song Contest.
Mr. Jon Ola Sand.
Mr. Jon Ola Sand.
Jon Ola Sand.
Mr. Jon Ola Sand.
Indeed.
Yes, J is for Mr. Jon Ola Sand, Executive Supervisor of the contest since 2011.
Thank you so much, Jon Ola.
And the only man I'd ever trust to say...
Take it away. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sand. Away. Thank you.
What a catchphrase. Sadly, he's off to pastures new. I'm gonna miss you, Yon Yon. Jay has also given the UK our two most successful acts of the last 20 years. In 2002, it was Jessica Garlick. This song finished joint third along with host country Estonia. And in 2009, Jade Ewan finished in the top 5. Performing alongside Lord of the Musicals, Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I've got the will, I've earned the right.
And just months later, Jade became a member of the Sugar Babes, which is almost as good as a Eurovision trophy in the cabinet, if you ask me. So that's Jade. But still on the way, we've got this guy and a cameo from a root vegetable in S for semi-finals. N will give you nightmares. And if you love the letter Y, you don't want to miss this. But first, we've got the all-important business of the letter K. K is for Katie, which could be for Katie Price, who almost represented the UK back in 2005 with this. Who could forget that pink PVC catsuit? Katie was 7 months pregnant at the time and narrowly lost out to Javine in the UK selection show. Javine went on to perform Touch My Fire in Kiev. But Javine's not okay, so move on. Another Katie is much-loved Eurovision icon, Katie Boyle.
Good evening and welcome to this, the 13th Eurovision Song Contest.
The late, great Katie Boyle hosted the Eurovision Song Contest 4 times here in the UK.
Hello, London. May I have your votes, please?
Between 1960 and 1974.
Well, of course, I'll never forget I'm a Womble now.
More than any other presenter in the history of the contest.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir.
K is also for keeping it in the family, which a few acts have done over the years. Step forward Humphrey Campbell, joined by his brothers in 1992. They look absolutely thrilled to be there, and who wouldn't with moves like that? Moving on to twins now, and 2 quiffs you might recognise. Jedward have represented Ireland twice and actually finished 8th in 2011 with this song, unleashing Jedward mania all over Europe. We can only apologise. A little known fact for you now. In 1996, Peter, the son of Benny from ABBA, followed in his dad's footsteps as part of Swedish band One More Time. There he is, look, on the piano. And he wrote the song. Whilst it's no Waterloo, it finished a very respectable 3rd. Fan favourite Verka Serduchka may not have competed with her mother. But she's rarely been seen without her since her Eurovision debut. Right, I have just been informed in real life these two ain't even related. You're fired. Next you'll be telling me Verka's not even a woman. Next up, L is for lyrics, a key staple for any successful Eurovision entry. Writing a song that appeals to voters all across Europe isn't easy. Clear, simple lyrics are a must, like this textbook winner from Spain. I think I counted 138 Lars. While some keep it simple, others have invented new and exciting words. Meanwhile, some artists have taken a more poetic approach to lyrics.
Oh, your breasts are like swallows and nesting.
Yes, he genuinely just said that. But in the modern era of the contest, lyrics are far more sophisticated. Let's move on to M for multitasking, because it's not enough to just sing. A true Eurovision great can keep numerous plates spinning at the same time. Well, not literally. Not yet, anyway. In 2009, Svetlana from Ukraine threw everything at her performance, including herself. And Jacques Houdek proves you don't even need a partner for a duet.
There's a miracle, my friend, and it happened
dance every day. Hold out your hand, don't let it slip away. Io so che esiste, guarda meglio su.
But it's not always the main act who's multitasking. Check out these very productive backing singers. But our multitasking champion was inspired by Eurovision classic Puppet on a String. It's Australia's Singer on a Pole. That must have been a right pain in the behind. Right, on we go to N, which is for Nightmare. And no, not the sort that Lordy give you. When you're on live TV, anything can go wrong. Back in 1990, Spanish duo Azúcar Moreno had an absolute mare with their backing track, and the singers missed their cue. But don't worry, they got the chance to perform again and finished 5th. Now, one of the worst kind of nightmares is being interrupted mid-performance. It's important to carry on, no matter what. 20 years after Spain's backing track Balls Up, the nation were victim to the dreaded stage invasion. Well, at least he knew the routine. Even the UK can't escape a little interruption. Suri was an absolute trooper to carry on after that happened. In 2017, Jamala's interval performance had no bum notes, but it did have this.
The darkest hour is right beside you. I want those days to come again.
Nightmares also come in the form of a good old wardrobe malfunction. Oh, look who's back again. In 2009, Dima Bilan got himself in a right old tangle in the show's opening performance. Now, we all love watching the former winner pass on the trophy. But in this case, Dana International just couldn't resist stealing the limelight. One last time.
Dana, give them their prize. Sweden.
Now there's another nightmare, which starts with N. It's the much feared Nil Point. It's an exclusive club, and some of its members include Jan Teigen from Norway. Nil Point didn't stop him from getting a massive #1 hit in Norway. Go on, Jan. Turkey first joined the Nil Point Club in 1983, but renewed their membership 4 years later, after this performance. Oh, come on, that choreography alone was worth at least half a point. More recently, the voting system has changed. These days, the viewer and jury votes are revealed separately, and occasionally, this throws up a Nil Point shocker from the voting public.
Germany, you received from the public votes. I'm sorry, 0 points.
They may have got Nil Point from the viewers, but at least they made it into our A to Z. I think we know who the real winners are. Now, if you think this competition is a young person's game, then think again. Because O stands for Oldest Eurovision Performers, or as we like to call them, OEPs. Our first OEP was so proud of his age, he made it part of his name. His 75 cents. He was 75, by the way. And it wasn't just rapping in his repertoire. Have a look at this. In 2012, our very own Engelbert Humperdinck took the record for the oldest performer at 76. Engelbert held the OEP record for about 17 minutes, until everyone's favourite Russian grannies turned up. The grannies had a combined age of 403, but it was 76-year-old Pugacheva who took the OEP record by just a few months. But we've seen even older. In 2014, the semi-final interval performance featured this lively lady. Kit was 86 years old. But it turns out, even she isn't the oldest performer to grace the Eurovision stage. In 2013, Emil Ramsauer became the oldest ever musician to perform, wait for it, at the age of 95. When I'm 95, I'll be glad if me fingers work a tin opener. Never mind play the double bass. We're already up to P in our A to Z of Eurovision, and our next category is a firm favourite for many performers, including last year's champion, Duncan Lawrence. You've guessed it, P is for piano. And if there's one competition that can make the old Joanna interesting, it's this one. Romania love a tinkle on the old ivories, and back in 2010 they gave us the double-ended piano. But after finishing third, they returned in 2014 with this all-round beauty. The hula hoop piano, as I now call it, helped them bag 12th place. The following year, Austria were the bane of health and safety with this little number. And Ukraine proved that a piano has many uses. The most obvious one being a Dracula-inspired coffin. Because, you know, why not? But full marks for creativity goes to A to Z regular Dima Bilan, who treated us to this.
Dancing on broken glass, can't stand no more. Never let you go.
Cool, that must have killed her back. Mind you, she's lucky though, because that song was going to be performed on a guitar. Q is for quirky, and when it comes to Eurovision, one country is quirkier than anyone: Moldova. From drumming grannies to dancing spacemen. They've pulled out all the stops since their debut in 2005. And don't worry, we haven't forgotten the most epic Moldovan entry of all time. Yes, it's Epic Sax Guy! In 2010, this guy's sax appeal was clear to see. He gained fans all over the world, yet his group, Sunstroke Project, finished in a lowly 22nd place. Undeterred, Epic Sax Guy was back 7 years later, saxier than ever, taking a third-place finish. What a smooth sax machine. R is for returners, and all those acts that just couldn't get enough of the old Eurovision. Starting with the king of the repeat offenders, Mr. Johnny Logan, who won the contest for Ireland back in 1980.
Well, he seems to be taking it very calmly.
And again in 1987, when he became the first and only artist to ever lift the trophy twice. And that's why they call him Mr. Eurovision. Since then, many other winning acts have tried and failed to pull off the Johnny Logan double. Like Donna International, whose follow-up to Diva fell flat with voters. The song failed to even qualify for the final in 2011. In 2009, Alexander Rybak and his fiddle won with the song Fairy Tale. 9 years later, he attempted the double with That's How You Write a Song. Which wasn't, it turns out, how you win the contest. He came 15th. But it's not just winners that keep coming back. San Marino's fan favourite Serhat has already tried twice. Successfully making the final on his second attempt. But the award for most determined act from San Marino goes to Valentina Monetta, who's entered an incredible 4 times to date. All this, and she's only made the final once, coming 24th. God loves a trier. Now, there wouldn't be much point to a song contest without it, so S is for singing. Vocals are everything, so you need to show off your range. And over the years, we've seen some seriously high notes. Sorry, should have put a warning for them clips. Now, technique is key, and it's not always just about the big note. Sometimes the journey to that note is just as enjoyable. If there's one country who love a high-pitched howl, it's Croatia. And judging by this, they even surprised themselves. But it's fellow Croat Maja Blagdan who holds the record for the highest ever note in Eurovision history. And before you ask, yes, that was a B-flat 5. In 2009, opera singer Malena Öhrman from Sweden gave us the frankly underused low gurgle before belting out an absolute blinder. And incredible fact about Malena, her daughter is actually teenage environmental activist Greta Thunberg. Just you wait, next year Greta's going to be representing Sweden with a version of Feeling Hot, Hot, Hot. Now, as well as singing, S stands for semi-finals. If you're new to Eurovision, you heard me right. There are semi-finals. Oh, hang on. Is this the bit where me and Scott Mills get our clip?
Listen, I've always wanted to say this. Can we do the line?
Yeah, come on then.
Let the Eurovision Song Contest begin!
I miss you, Scott. I digress. Now, the Eurovision semi-final was first introduced in 2004 to whittle down the number of competing countries. And since then, some truly unforgettable performances have missed out on a place in the final.
Crazy rulers, they hide and try to fool us with demonic technologic willingness to harm. They're gonna push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button. To keep the world from going wrong, let your light shine.
In the 2006 semis, Sylvia Knight from Iceland sang Congratulations, which is definitely not to be confused with Sir Cliff's version. Sadly, Sylvia's squeak wasn't enough to get her through to the final. Meanwhile, Switzerland's DJ Bobo was clearly the inspiration for everyone's favourite vampire saga, Twilight.
I am a vampire, I'm a slave to the daylight, hence my grave.
You're not a vampire? Your name's not even DJ Bobo. It's Peter.
Vampires are alive! Vampires are alive! Vampires!
T can only be for one man, the godfather of Eurovision, Sir Terry Wogan.
Hold it down to a dull roar. The rest of Europe thinks the British are reserved.
He first became BBC One's Voice of Eurovision in 1973, and viewers couldn't get enough of his dry wit and unique take on the competition.
The sound of the floor will dance.
I tell you, I thought I saw Christopher Biggins in the street in Helsinki, but I must have been imagining it. In the disco it is. More like a night out at Stringfellows.
No, it's not Rita from Coronation Street.
And he had a lot to say about Eurovision fashion.
I hope that the mesh in those stockings passed the EU regulations. I hope you didn't let your mother watch that.
Jessica Garlick to sing for the UK. Let's cheer her on with word and gesture. Mind you, her frock's been through the shredder.
And get more comfortable.
Ah, the return of the custard yellow suit.
But in 1998, all of Europe's eyes were on him.
The 43rd Eurovision Song Contest.
When he presented the show with Ulrika Johnson in Birmingham.
And the lines are now open. Vous pouvez téléphoner dès maintenant. For my second song this evening. No.
Good evening, Terry.
Good evening, Seagull.
So let's all raise a toast for Sir Terry.
From all of us, Mazel Tov.
Mazel. Thank you, Terry.
Mazel Tov. You is all about upstaging the act. Now, back in the days of letter A, we learnt you're only allowed 6 people on stage, but sometimes the backing performers completely upstage the main act.
Oh, my darling angel.
In 2009, Petr Elfimov's big moment was hijacked by his dancer changing the duvet cover. Sadly, the human duvet didn't make it past the semi-final. In the same year, Albania felt that a low-key, blend into the background style outfit wasn't enough for their dancer. Now, our Russian friend Dima Bilan has made a few appearances in our A to Z. To recap, he made it into B for Barefoot Winners, P for Pianos, N for Nightmare, and now he's all over U. Well, I mean, the letter U. In the same year he won the competition, his performance featured Olympic ice skater Evgeny Plushenko on the world's smallest rink. Yeah, Evgeny's good, but he's no GC on Dancing on Ice. But it's not always the backing dancers that upstage the main act. In Estonia's case, Malcolm Lincoln's backing singer provided, well, a slightly dramatic end to their performance. And just in case you missed it,
Thank you.
Don't worry, he was absolutely fine. V is for arguably the most important part of the whole competition, the voting. These days, we're used to seeing the spokespeople for all nations delivering the points from their jury on a live link. But back in the day, they were just given on the old blower.
Hello, London. May I have your votes, please?
Hello, Catherine. This is London, and here are the votes of the United Kingdom jury.
Luckily, Eurovision and its voting system has really evolved over the years.
20 votes for Spain.
Spain, 20 and in the lead.
But even then, it wasn't always plain sailing.
Good evening, Yugoslavia. Could I have your votes, please? Good evening, Yugoslavia. Could I have your votes, please?
I don't have it.
Yeah?
From 1994, we got to see every spokesperson via satellite for the very first time. And some really went the extra mile to make a good impression.
Is that third motor calling? These are the votes of the Maltese jury.
Good evening. All the best to everybody who is watching the transmission.
Dit danske er perfekt. Your Danish is perfect.
Thank you very
let's continue.
much.
But when it came down to the important business of giving points, sometimes the pressure got too much.
Yeah, 7 points.
But 6 points.
Yeah, I think I made a little mistake. Croatia 6 points.
Croatia.
Austria 5 points.
Wait. No, hang on now, don't panic.
Whilst others like to milk the drama.
8 points from Spain go to...
Oh, come on, just give it to Romania. Oh, sorry, spoiler. But whilst there's many awkward moments, there's always a lot of laughs.
The show was so beautiful tonight.
Hello, Athens. This is Germany calling.
Hello, cowboy.
Yeehaw, Sarkis.
But we've got to give the UK a mention, because there's one man who represented us 25 times. I give you Mr. Colin Berry.
Here comes Colin, Big C.
Good evening to you, Katis, and hello, Anders. Is it time to go home, I ask myself. I guess what we're looking for now is a happy ending. Only one country can have that, I'm afraid.
But he's not the only icon to take on the role of celebrity spokesperson.
Guten Abend, Wien, das war doch toll. Vielen Dank.
Edatov, Tel Aviv, good evening, Europe.
Oh, that last one's definitely a looker.
This is London calling first.
Cracking set of teeth. Moving on to W. It's time to shine a light on the unsung heroes of 1997, because W is for Katrina's Waves. Katrina may have taken the trophy and the limelight all those years ago, but we've got to give a huge shout out to Vince, Alex and Kimberly. Yes, he's a man. The UK would have been washed up without you waves.
Shine a light in every corner of our heart.
But they aren't our only W. I know what you're thinking. We've nearly got to Z and there's barely been a whiff of ABBA. Well, fear not, because W also stands for... Let me take you back to 1974. The contest took place in Brighton, in the UK.
Good evening. And welcome to this, the 19th Eurovision Song Contest.
ABBA tried to represent Sweden the previous year, but only finished third in the Swedish selection show, Melodifestivalen. But they more than made up for it a year later. That year, just 17 countries competed.
Sweden, 5 votes.
But as the votes came in, ABBA kept their lead throughout.
The winning song of the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest, Waterloo, chanté par ABBA.
They ended up winning with 24 points. Yep, that's right, back in the day when 24 points was enough to win. And a little fact for you, the UK's jury gave them 0 points. What are we like? ABBA became the first Swedish winners and went on to sell nearly 400 million albums and established the dress code for over 500 million Hindus. Over the years, some performances have really pushed the boundaries of taste and decency in order to stand out. So X is for X-rated, which means I'm going to have to show you clips like this. Offensive in more ways than one. And of course this. But controversial performances are not a new thing for Eurovision. Even in the hallowed days of black and white TV, acts were causing a stir. Like Danish singers Berta Vilk and Gustav Winkler in 1957, who kissed for an outrageous 11 seconds at the end of their performance. That's enough. They no doubt influenced acts like Monica and Vidas in 2015. Get a room. And Eurovision's very first same-sex kiss in 2013. I wonder if they're still together. But it gets worse than a smooch on stage. Some acts caused a stir for different reasons. This is Scooch with a first-class and very flirty performance. Fasten your seatbelts.
Would you like something to suck on the landing strip? To use the life vest, slip it over your head, pull firmly on the red cord, and blow into the mouthpiece. We wish you a very pleasurable journey.
And don't think we've forgotten this lot, who in 2014 gave us a revealing insight into the Polish dairy industry. UK viewers deemed it cream of the crop, topping the public vote. But our jury ranked it in last place. Make of that what you will. And I've got no words for this Icelandic X-rated entry. Apart from the fact they were wearing jogging bottoms backstage. True story. Right, enough of this filth, please. I want something a bit more pure. Y is for yolele. That's yodeling. Eurovision has seen some wonderful things, and in 2017, Romania's entry, Yodel It, did exactly what it said on the tin. Forget rolling hills. I've always thought cannons were the perfect backdrop to yodeling. Last year, Norway's act Kano gave us joiking, a traditional form of song for the Sami people in Northern Europe. I actually think joiking spelt with a J, but nobody's taking Jessica Garlick's place in this list. But 2019 wasn't the first time Norway gave us a good old yoik. Here's Sverre Heilsberg and Mattis Hater back in 1980. Wow, that yoiking went on for yonks. We've reached the dramatic end to the alphabet, and I can reveal that Z is for Zelmerlöw. Måns Zelmerlöw. 2015 Swedish champion and 2016 host.
We are all heroes.
I mean, it was either this or Z for Zany. But anyway, Måns' Eurovision journey began in Vienna in 2015, where he competed with the song Heroes. Shout out to his animated sidekick Chalk Boy. What a guy.
And the winner is Sweden, Måns Zelmerlöw.
After a landslide victory, Måns was back on home soil in 2016, this time as co-host.
My name is Måns Zelmerlöw, or as most people call me after winning the Eurovision, the King of Pop.
Do they? Really?
Not so much.
A role that combined his love for performing with getting his kit off.
Eurovision Sing Song Contest.
The next year, Måns was even appearing in VTs.
What are you doing
Seen here coaching the Ukrainian hosts.
Sure. Presenting a live show to over 200 million viewers, interacting with 42 countries while dealing with the unexpected.
But in 2018, Måns was nowhere to be seen. Not even as the spokesperson for the Swedish vote. A wrong that was put right in 2019.
Hello, Måns!
When Måns starred in an interval act with Conchita Wurst, Verka Serduchka and Eleni Ferreira.
Now, Måns, we know you can sing, we know you can dance, we know you can host, you talented devil. But can you put my stage on fuego?
Before uniting for a finale to Hallelujah. And there we have it. That's the end of the alphabet and this 64-year canter through Eurovision history. I'll leave you with a clip of Gina G performing Ooh Ah Just a Little Bit, which topped the UK charts, was nominated for a Grammy, but unbelievably didn't win Eurovision. And also we couldn't fit her in anywhere else. Sing it, Gina!